Well, I was going to say that I lived through the OPEC oil crisis in the United States.
Then you have to rely on you here.
I lived through that, and it made a big impression on me, because that's the kind of shortage and rationing you don't expect to see in what was then obviously the world's leading nation, the world's richest economy. But in America, that you saw rationing of that kind because OPEC had decided to restrict its oil exports to the United States. And so you'd walk around and you'd see lines of cars outside gas stations waiting to get gas, waiting to get filled up. And if they were unlucky, they came too late, they would have to be turned away. That's the kind of rationing you don't expect to see. And that's the kind of rationing that's very unnerving. Once you're used to, as we are in Singapore, a society where things work. When something like that breaks down, it is very disconcerting. Are we close to that? I don't think so. And part of the reason is that the blockade in the Strait of Hormuz is right now affecting fertilizer, and it's affecting oil and gas. And as you said, that does show up in price inflation everywhere. But compare that with our own recent experience with shortages, the COVID pandemic. There, it wasn't just the Strait of Hormuz that was blockaded. All ports, the entire world over, no longer operated. Shipping lines were shut down, airline flights were canceled. And there, people actually did worry, and there was this big rush to the nearest Sheng Siong for instant noodles and toilet paper. Today, it's consequential. The impact on inflation and output cannot be underestimated at this point. But we also need to keep calm about how the rest of the system needs to be allowed to continue to work.